So are people actually being buried alive or not? The most famous story surrounding the phrase "saved by the bell" is that it originates from the 18th and 19th century when people feared being buried alive. This fear, known as taphophobia, was very real in Victorian Europe, especially during cholera outbreaks when quick burials were very common. In a rush to bury a corpse quickly before contagious diseases could spread, people who were comatose, catatonic, sedated, or just plain drunk, really drunk, were sometimes mistaken for dead, in most cases simply due to a very low heartbeat that sometimes went unnoticed, and the person would be declared dead and then quickly buried. This fear led to the invention of safety coffins, bells attached to strings that extended to the coffin, tubes for air supply, flags, or even small periscopes to signal movement underground. There are even patents for these inventions, such as the one filed by Franz Wester in 1868 in Germany. And here comes a huge but. No solid evidence connects this practice to the actual phrase usage in print at the time. Despite its spooky appeal and the graveyard bell connection, is likely a case of folk etymology, a story that fits too perfectly but lacks documentation. Not to take away from the fact that such coffins were actually being used, just not as commonly as you would imagine. So the real source, boxing in the 19th century, particularly in Britain and the United States during the late 19th century. In the early boxing, rounds often lasted until a fighter was knocked down, with little structure or timing. But by the 1860s, Marquis of Queensberry, rules introduced 3-minute rounds and bells to signal the beginning and end of each round. The bells became an essential part of ring management, and with it came the phrase that we know today. In 1893, a report on a boxing match includes the phrase, "He was saved by the bell." Here, it had a literal meaning. A boxer on the verge of defeat was spared because the bell ended the round before he was knocked out. This figurative meaning, escaping danger or embarrassment just in time, quickly caught on outside of the ring. By the early 20th century, "saved by the bell" was idiomatic in English language, used in schools when a student was rescued from answering a tough question by the teacher, common in military slang during World War I and II, with the idea of being spared last minute from punishment or danger, embraced in pop culture, eventually becoming the name of the NBC sitcom Saved by the Bell. Like and subscribe for more interesting stories.